Is Oda really doing this? Is Oda about to have a reverie? No. So VIVI is setting out. Oh, God. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Because as we know, there's a big marriage going on. And a lot of nobles, high-tier nobles and stuff, are usually invited to political weddings. There's a very likely possibility a lot of countries that Luffy or the Straw Hats have been to are going to be there. Oh, God. This is going to be interesting, because that would mean that a lot of allies of Luffy are going to be at that wedding, or the marriage ceremony. And if this is the case, we can expect some great things, because as we know, Oda's entering into a new arc with the, Yonkos and stuff. It was announced on Anime News Network. And because of this, with the way this is being detailed now, because VIVI is setting out, that would mean that there's other countries that are going to follow, and so there's a possibility that even though Luffy's crew so far at the moment, they're splitting up once again, there's a possibility going to where Big Mom is, there's going to be a lot more allies waiting for Luffy there, for instance, like someone like VIVI and stuff. So I'm very intrigued about this right now, if Oda is really taking the story in that direction, because that's where it looks like it's going to me. But regardless of that, though, this chapter, it pretty much concludes the Zou arc in a standard Straw Hat fashion. Luffy grabs some of his crew members and he jumps off of Zunisha, and that was quite the way to kind of end this arc a little bit, because it's a standard Luffy fashion, grabbing his crew members, yanking them off, going to the boat, and that's exactly what he was doing. And I laughed my ass off to how the reaction was to Luffy grabbing everybody and jumping off the elephant, because let's take a moment to look at everybody's reaction in those panels. For one, Luffy grabs everybody, he jumps off, and everybody is shitting a brick, like everybody. It's like, what the fuck, Luffy? Like, everybody is just freaking out, and then you just see all the remaining Straw Hats that are not going with Luffy. They're just acting like all smug, like, glad it's not me. That's exactly what they're looking at. They're laughing and smiling, but majority of the Straw Hats that were staying behind were just looking like, I'm glad it's not me. And, I bet Law is pretty happy too. I mean, he's been drugged around constantly by Luffy throughout these past couple arcs, so I bet he's pretty happy not to be drugged around by Luffy. But I had a good laugh with that. Very good stuff in this chapter. Very funny interaction just to see how the Straw Hats didn't freak out, but you had it to where the others were freaking out around them. But you gotta love the faces and screaming when they all jumped off and Luffy's just grabbing them and falling off Zunisha. That was pretty funny. That was comedy gold right there, everyone. So, this chapter of One Piece, for the most part, it's set up. It's set up for the next upcoming arc, the new arc, the big central arc that's been built up. And it seems like since now we're getting into the Yonko stuff now, we're going to Sanji, it seems like we're going to have more focus on Sanji and that side of the story than we're going to have with Zoro and his, side of the story. For instance, all the crew members that we got to see in the past arc with Dressrosa, I feel like they're going to be kind of taking majority of it a side seat to the side, and the other crew members that weren't really a part of the story in Dressrosa are going to be the main central focus of this upcoming arc. Now, Pedro, I feel so bad for you. I feel so bad for you, Pedro. I really do. Because probably the hell you're going to go through while being with Luffy. He's going to just drag you around like he probably does Zoro. So I feel very bad for freaking Pedro, because the poor man is probably going to be sick with Luffy at the end of the day. Once everything is done, he's probably going to be sick of Luffy shit. Oh yeah, and Nami, she gets a new weapon as well that Usopp has been making for a while for her. So Nami now has got an upgrade. She has the ability to control more weather than she ever used to, but also she can use the research she learned from her time skip into this upcoming battle with this upcoming arc. So, can't wait to see exactly what type of new abilities that Nami can use when we're faced with certain situations when maybe Luffy might have to go up against Big Mom. I will say now, though, this was a fun chapter, a perfect setup for the upcoming chapters. I can't wait to see where it's going to go, though, because, I mean, we have so much set up here. I mean, you have it to where VIVI's coming. She's finally getting on a ship and going on to the Grand Line, just traveling through the Grand Line. That means that there's a reverie building up, and that means a bunch of other countries are going to be popping up, so it makes you question what other countries are going to be joining with this, and also what type of allies await Luffy there. But on top of that, too, is there a possibility, since Luffy has had contact with all of these different people, for instance, VIVI's country, I wonder if that will play a role in this upcoming arc, you know, with what, you know, Luffy's about to do, going to Big Mom's to stop the marriage. Now, there is a key piece of dialogue I want to point out when it comes to this chapter that was very eerie, and it kind of made me question, like, oh shit, Oda, what are you doing? Like, oh god, like, that kind of scares me a little bit. Luffy says, whatever happens, happens, and that scares the shit out of me. When I hear something like that come out of Luffy's mouth, and come out before an arc like this that has a lot of potential to go wrong, I mean, look, Luffy's going up against Bianco. He's going after Big Mom, pretty much, and there's no way he's going to get into that arc and not have a fight with Big Mom. It's just not happening. I mean, there is a possibility, just a slim possibility, very slim, but there's a possibility maybe Big Mom might help out Luffy. Who the fuck knows? But still, the main thing is the way Luffy worded that, whatever happens, happens. It makes me worry that something might happen to Sanji or someone else. Since this is the year of Sanji, something bad could happen. But also, we have to factor in that since a bunch of these other characters are coming from other islands to this arc, where Big Mom is, it makes you wonder, is there going to be any deaths or anything? Is that going to happen? And what's going to happen with this upcoming fight? There's no way Luffy's going to this marriage ceremony and not getting into a fight. It's not Luffy. It's not Luffy. You cannot sneak. It's not possibility. So there's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of shit going down. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to this chapter of One Piece. I mean, we have all our groups separating. We have it to where, you know, Zoro's doing his own thing. He's trying to get the samurais all together. You have it to where you have, you know, Kinemon, he's going and doing his own thing. Nekomamushi's doing his own thing. I mean, all our characters are kind of splitting up into different groups and going to accomplish their own goals and then meet back together and then continue setting out. So, we have a long time until probably we see Zoro. So, yeah, it's going to be sad to, you know, for a long time, since we're not going to probably see Zoro or Law for a while. But, you know, I guess, you know, we have to see Sanji. Sanji and his crew need a little bit of the focus now. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.